And now here we are at 6:15, and we are diving deep into the cross-border sewage crisis that has impacted the South Bay for decades. Yesterday, we showed you an interview with the current mayor of Imperial Beach, and this morning we are hearing from Serge Dedina, the former mayor for 8 years prior to Mayor Paloma Aguirre. He's also the executive director of Wildcoast. He and his staff have gotten so sick they had to move the Wildcoast office from IB north to Del Mar. The sewage problem there, has it made you sick?
Yeah, you know, I've gotten so sick. It's really impacted negatively my health. 2 sinus surgeries, ear surgery. I had a tube put in my ear to deal with all the discharges, but then they had to go and surgically remove that. Super painful. And gastrointestinal disease, just stuff I don't even want to talk about. My kids have been to urgent care. It's really been a series of illnesses going back more than 20 years, but really accelerating since the mega spill of 2017 and since things have just gotten exponentially worse.
Kids, your life obviously impacted everyone in IB who's anywhere near that water.
And it's just devastated these communities that are the beach playgrounds for all of South San Diego. Millions of people are at the beach in Coronado, Silver Strand, and IB. This summer, those beaches were empty. People couldn't go in the water. Lifeguards devastated because they couldn't go in the water to rescue people, or they risk getting sick making a rescue. Camp Surf, YMCA Camp Surf that I went to as a kid, my kids went to as a kid, thousands of kids, fewer going there, and they have to drive to La Jolla to get their kids in the water. The junior lifeguard program in IB, that's a lifeline for so many kids, teaching them water safety and then training them to get jobs as lifeguards so they can have a good job, canceled. Right, so it's just devastated the economy, but social fabric of our communities.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think's been the holdup or blame game? I mean, what?
Look, it's bureaucracy on steroids where people believe that process and paperwork is more important than actually helping serve the public good. And think about it, the United States has been more concerned about filling out a report than making sure our Navy SEALs don't get sick. The United States government is more concerned about doing an environmental impact assessment to document the impact of a sewage treatment plant to treat the sewage rather than stopping the sewage from making our Border Patrol agents, our lifeguards, and our kids sick, right?
Why do you think there has not been a response?
You know, none of us can understand what is holding up the governor and President Biden and Mexican authorities from dealing with this. It just doesn't make any sense because it's such a fixable problem. It's just a sewer system. Look, I was a small town mayor. We weren't allowed to discharge any sewage in the ocean. In California and San Diego, if you discharge any sewage in the ocean, it's $1.50 a gallon. So, but Mexican authorities can get away with discharging as much sewage as they want, and they know that the United States government won't say anything.
We're obviously here in Del Mar, not in IB. Wildcoast had to move?
Wildcoast had an office for 21 years in Imperial Beach from 2000 to 2021, but during the pandemic, things got so bad with sewage pollution, and even before that, that I got sick and our staff started getting sick, sinus infections, and the stench of sewage was so overpowering that we just decided not to renew our lease and found a cheap office in Del Mar as well. And so that's a shame because it was nice to be across the street from the pier in IB and be right on the border, but that's not possible.
By the way, 40 million gallons of sewage a day. That's how much is flowing from this wastewater plant in Mexico that's just 4 to 6 miles away from our border. We are dedicating a whole special to this crisis. Earth 8 cross-border contamination airs November 17th at 4 p.m. And we are always working for you. So if you have had any major issues due to the sewage in the South Bay coming from Mexico, please email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com.